Good morning, everyone. Our topic is body temperature measurement. First of all, I'll start with why is this important? Because temperature is one of the fastest ways to detect when something goes wrong in the body, from infections to heat stroke. Doctors always check it first because it reflects a body's balance between heat production and heat loss. So behind the simple number lies powerful diagnostic value. Normal body temperature, as you can see here, it normally ranges between 36.5 to 37.5 degrees Celsius. But even a small shift, say even half a degree, can signal illness. Clinically, we don't just look at whether someone feels warm or cold. Instead, we measure at different sites. Core sites like rectum or tympanic membrane give accurate readings, while surface sites like oral or axillary are quicker and easier. For example, in an ICU setting, doctors rely more on core measurements, while in an airport setting like COVID, checks with forehead scanners were more practical. Moving on to the next slide. Now we look at the physiological basis of body temperature measurement. Our body basically works like a thermostat, which is controlled by the hypothalamus. It balances heat production mainly from metabolism and muscle activity with heat loss through sweating, evaporation, and radiation. But here's the catch: core temperature remains stable while skin temperature changes rapidly with the environment. That's why a person can have a normal core temperature but feel cold at the surface or the opposite. So we must choose the measurement method based on what we want to detect. Moving on to the next slide. Here, I'll quickly discuss the types of thermometers available. There are mainly three categories of thermometers: a liquid and glass thermometer, an electronic contact thermometer, and an infrared thermometer. A liquid and glass thermometer, as you can see here in the image, they are very old but give accurate readings, although they are slow and fragile. An electronic contact thermometer, they are widely used today and they rely on sensors like thermistors or RTDs, which are resistance temperature detectors for fast and precise readings. An infrared thermometer is completely non contact, they are very fast, and they are especially useful during pandemics because they are very hygienic. Each one of them serves a different clinical purpose. Moving on to the next slide. Now, let's compare all of these three thermometers. A liquid thermometer, they are very accurate but takes minutes to stabilize, so they are not ideal during emergency cases. An electronic contact thermometer works on the principle that electric resistance or voltage varies with temperature. They balance speed and accuracy, and they are the standard in hospitals, although they need regular calibration. An infrared thermometer, they are the fastest, they produce readings under a second and are safe, but they can only measure surface heat. That means sweat or ambient conditions can mislead the reading. So, doctors pick the instrument based on the context: speed in mass screening versus accuracy in critical care. Moving on to the next slide. Here we will discuss the basic instrumentation of a thermometer. Despite the differences in all these three thermometers, they all follow the same basic chain. A sensor which sends signals to the signal conditioning, followed by an ADC and a display. The sensor will detect the temperature, the signal conditioning will amplify and filter it, the ADC, which is the analog to digital converter, will digitize it, and finally the reading is displayed. This system ensures that weak physical changes, like a small resistance drop in a thermistor, becomes reliable numbers doctors can trust. Moving on to the next slide. Here, I will take an infrared thermometer as an example. The IR detector senses radiations from the skin. That signal is amplified and converted to digital by an ADC and processed by a microcontroller which applies calibration and corrections. The result is shown instantly on the screen. This explains why IR thermometers become so common in homes, airports, and hospitals. Because the reason is simple, they provide safe, quick, and convenient readings, even if they're not the most accurate for core temperature.
So hello everyone. I'm Anushka and I'm going to discuss about the sensors that are used to measure the body temperature along with their working principles. There are four types of sensors. First, the thermistors, RTD, that is resistance temperature detectors, and infrared thermistors. These are the resistors whose resistance changes with temperature. The NTC of the thermistor is the resistance decreases as temperature increases. This is given by the following equation. The PTC, which is the positive transmit coefficient, is equals to the increase in the resistance as the temperature increases. Second one is the thermocouples. There are two dissimilar metal wires joined at one end that generates a voltage based on the temperature difference. The working principle of thermocouples are feedback effect. The voltage is given by V is equal to alpha delta T. Then it comes to the resistance temperature detectors. These are highly accurate sensors whose resistance changes linearly with temperature. The working principle is resistance is measured and converted to temperature. Their linear response provides high accuracy over a wide range. Now comes the infrared detectors. These measure temperature from a distance by sensing an object's emitted infrared radiation. The working principle it is based on the blackbody radiation and the Planck's law. All objects above absolute zero emit infrared energy, and the amount emitted is proportional to their temperature. Moving on to the next slide, we have the working principle of thermistor thermometer and the thermocouple thermometer. First of all, we will look to the thermometer. The core principle is that a special material's electrical resistance changes in response to the temperature. This change in resistance is then converted into a small electrical signal, which is the voltage by a current. This signal is then amplified and processed to be displayed. Then we come to the thermocouple. This device works based on the feedback effect. When two different are joined together, a temperature difference between the junction creates a small voltage. This voltage is directly proportional to the temperature difference, and this value is then used to determine the temperature of the body. Here at the side, there is a basic circuit for thermocouple. It shows the flow of the signal from the sensor to the display. You can see the thermocouple junction at the bottom goes to the micro digital shows to show the temperature reading. Now we came to the working principle of non-contact IR thermometers. The non-contact thermometers like ear or gun thermometer measure the temperature by detecting the infrared radiation of an object emits. The IR radiation. All objects with a temperature above absolute zero emit thermal radiation. The amount of this radiation is proportional to the object's temperature raised to the fourth power as described by the Stevens-Boltzmann law. Now, the detection and the conversion part. An IR detector, such as the thermopile, inside the thermometer focuses on the object and emit the IR energy. This observed energy is converted into a proportional electrical signal. The processing and display unit of the IR thermometer. A microcontroller processes the electrical signal and converts it into a temperature value based on a pre-calibrated scale. The final temperature is then shown on a digital display. The mathematical relations thermosi- the mathematical relationship for the thermistors are the relation between resistance and temperature for a thermistor is highly nonlinear and is best described by the Steinherd equation. This equation provides high accuracy over a wide temperature range. The thermocouples operate on a seatback effect where a voltage is generated due to a temperature difference based between function or of dissimilar metals. The voltage is directly proportional to the difference as given in the equation. The IR thermometers rely on the principle that all objects emits thermal radiation. The power radiates is proportional to the fourth power of the object temperature as stated by the Stephen Boltzmann law.
Thank you, Anushka. My part of presentation is on the clinical and biomedical applications of temperature monitoring. When most of us think about a temperature, we think of one simple question: do I have a fever? But in healthcare, measuring body temperature is a critical tool used in huge variety of situations from delivery room to the operating room and even our public spaces. This slide titled Clinical slash Biomedical Applications of Temperature Monitoring explains the different and critical ways that measuring body temperature is used in healthcare. So first one is fever detection and hypothermia monitoring. What it is. This is the most common reason why we take a temperature. A person's temperature is a primary vital sign just like your heart rate. Fever detection. A high temperature in your body's alarm system. It is a sign that your immune system is fighting something, usually an infection. While hypothermia, this is the opposite. It is monitoring for a dangerous drop in the body temperature. Next is ICU and surgery. This is for the most sick patients, essentially for critically ill patients and during anesthesia to maintain normothermia. This is just a medical term for a normal body temperature and to prevent complications and improve outcomes. Next one is the neonatal care. What it is? This focuses on newborns, especially pre-infants who cannot regulate their body temperature by their own. Next one is the anesthesia monitoring. It is used to maintain patient's temperature during surgical procedures to ensure stability and faster recovery. The last one is infectious disease screening. Rapid. It is rapid non-contact screening. Example with IR thermometers to identify individuals with elevated temperatures in public spaces. Next slide. This slide provides two examples of instrumentation diagrams for thermometer showing the progression from a simple concept to a more detailed circuit. The first diagram is of a clinical thermometer. It is a high-level, simplified diagram that shows the basic functioning blocks of a standard digital thermometer. The main components are sensor, signal conditioning, and display. So let's understand one by one. Sensor. This is the input. It is the part of thermometer that physically interacts with the body to detect a temperature. It produces a raw and a continuous analog signals. The second part is signal conditioning. This is a processing stage. The raw analog signals from the sensor is a weak and not in the that format that display can use. It It consists of two parts. First one is the amplifier, second one is the analog to digital converter. Amplifier. It first boosts the signal, weak signal, to make it stronger and more measurable. The second one is analog to digital converter. It is a crucial component that converts continuous analog signals into discrete digital numbers. The last part is the display. This is the output. It takes the digital form from the ADC and process it and then display it as a temperature reading. So the second part or the right hand side of the diagram represent a tympanic thermometer. It is a more detailed and specific diagram for a ear thermometer. It shows actual electronic components and how they are interconnected. Some of the components are IR signal. This is the input, analog processing, microcontroller, a digital conversion ADC, and a user interface. So let's understand one by one each of them. Input or sensor. Instead of a contact sensor, it uses an infrared sensor. This measures the infrared heat waves emitted from the eardrum, determine the temperature. So when signal is connected, we process the signal, and the process is called analog processing. The IR signal is very faint, is very low, so it is sent to a low noise amplifier to be boosted without adding significant electrical noises. This creates an amplified analog signal. You can see from the diagram amplified analog signal. So now the next part is digital conversion. The amplified signal is then fed into ADC, which is analog to digital converter, which turns it into the digital data. Microcontroller. This is the brain. This is the central processor of the thermometer. It receives the digital data from the ADC. It uses memory, which may store calibration data as discussed in the previous, to process data and calculate the final accurate temperature. It then sends the control signal to the LCD display to show the temperature. User interface allows the user to turn the device on or take a reading. In summary, the slide contrasts a simple conceptual model with a more complex real-world circuit diagram. Both diagrams illustrate the fundamental process of instrumentation. Next slide. So this table compares three different methods of temperature monitoring, outlining their pros and cons. So here is the breakdown of the information in the table. First one is the contact thermometer. These are traditional thermometers that must touch the body. For example, oral, rectal, and axillary. Some of the pros are high accuracy. They can be very precise, with rectal being a particular reliable way to measure temperature. They are also inexpensive and widely available. Some limitations for contact thermometer are as under. First one is it is slow. It can take several minutes to get an accurate reading. Invasive. They can be uncomfortable for patients. Third one is the contamination risk. Because they make direct contact with the body, they must be properly sterilized after each use to prevent the spread of germs. So the next part is non-contact infrared. These modern thermometers measure infrared heat from the body without touching it. For example, forehead scanners and ear, ear, that is tympanic thermometers. So some advantages of these thermometers are: first one is it is extremely fast, hygienic, and convenient. Some of the limitations are variable accuracy and surface reading. Variable accuracy, the reading can be inaccurate or if affected by the temperature. Surface reading, this method measures the temperature of skin surface, which is only an estimate of the body's true temperature. Invasive catheter. Third one is the invasive catheters. So this is a highly specialized medical procedure where a temperature sensing catheter, a thin tube, is inserted deep into the body, such as in the case of pulmonary artery. So some advantages are gold standard accuracy, the most precise method for true core temperature. It is also the most accurate method. Continuous monitoring. It provides a constant real-time data. Some of the limitations of invasive catheters are highly invasive. It requires a medical procedure to insert the device into the body. High risk, and lastly, specialized use only for critical care. Next slide. Calibration and standards explains the process and critical importance of calibrating clinical thermometers. So first question is how they are calibrated. Thermometers are calibrated by testing them in a highly stable temperature controlled bath and comparing their reading to a master reference thermometer. Second question is why it matters. This process is crucial for patient safety. An inaccurate thermometer could cause a doctor to miss a real fever or react to a false one, leading to a wrong diagnosis and treatment. Next question that arises, who makes the rules? Global organizations like IEC and ASTM create safety and accuracy standards that all clinical thermometers must meet. Next question, importance for patient safety. Proper calibration is non-negotiable for patient safety. An inaccurate thermometer can have serious consequences such as a missed fever or a false low reading can delay the diagnosis of a serious infection. Another one is a false fever. A false high reading can lead to unnecessary medical tests, treatments, and patient anxiety. Regular calibrations ensures that clinical decisions are based on trustworthy data. The graph. This slides include a clinical thermometer calibration curve to usually represent this concept. It has two axes. The first one is x-axis. It shows the reference temperature, while as the y-axis shows thermometer reading. Ideal curve. The line represents a perfectly accurate thermometer where the reading y is exactly equal to the reference line. Thank you.
This is Gayatri Mishra. Now I'm going to explain about the signal conditioning in body temperature sensors. Sensors like thermistors and thermocouples produce electrical signals that are often weak and noisy. Signal conditioning circuits, amplifiers, and filters are essential to improve signal quality for accurate temperature reading. Amplifiers increase the voltage to measurable levels, filters remove electrical noise and interference. Precision ADC, that is analog to digital converters, convert conditioned analog signals into digital data for microcontroller processing. Proper conditioning reduces measurement error and enhances thermometer reliability in medical settings. Next, we have microcontroller and firmware in digital thermometers. Microcontrollers process sensor signals and control displays or communication. Firmware uses mathematical models, example Steinhardt for temperature conversion, implements auto calibration, error detection, and data smoothing. Power management techniques extend battery life in portable devices. It supports wireless integration by Bluetooth or Wi-Fi for remote monitoring. The wireless technologies in temperature monitoring include Bluetooth, low energy Zigbee, and Wi Fi enable real time data transmission. It facilitates continuous remote monitoring in ICU, home care, and telemedicine. It ensures patient mobility and reduces tethered device risks, requires strong encryption and compliance with medical data privacy laws like HIPAA, integrates it with hospital systems and smartphones for seamless health tracking. Now we have a flowchart for wireless temperature monitoring system. First, we have temperature sensing. A sensor measures the temperature of the target environment. Data transmission. The sensor wirelessly sends the temperature data to a receiver. Then we have wireless receiver or the gateway. A central hub receives the data and forwards it to a remote server. The cloud or the server. The data is stored and managed on a central server or cloud platform. Data processing and analysis. The data is analyzed to check for trends and anomalies against a set of rules. Then it goes to user interface and alerts. The processed data is shown to the user via a dashboard and alerts are sent if a problem is detected. Lastly, the action or the control. A corrective action is taken either manually by a user or automatically by the system in response to the alert.
This is Hamani, and I'll discuss on miniaturization and flexible electronics for wearables. So, the development of ultra thin, lightweight, flexible sensors conforming to skin, in which flexible thermistor and organic electronics integrated into patches and textiles, it enhances user comfort, wearability, and continuous temperature monitoring accuracy. It enables multi-parametric health monitoring within a single device and also includes skin-safe adhesives and washable, reusable electronics for convenience. Now let's discuss the diagram given here. In this, the diagram, can you please switch back to the previous slide? So in this diagram, it illustrates a direct relationship between three key technological advancements. First, miniaturization, which allows for the creation of extremely small electronic components such as tiny sensors and processors, which are essential for making devices compact and lightweight. Second, we have flexible electronics, which provides the ability to build circuits that can bend, stretch, and conform to various shapes, moving beyond rigid circuit boards. These two concepts come together to create the third element, wearable devices. By using these small and pliable components, engineers can design practical and comfortable products like smartwatches, health monitoring patches, and smart clothing that seamlessly integrate with the human body. Next slide, please. Now we'll discuss about power management and portable temperature devices. It uses low power microcontrollers and sleep modes to save energy. Energy harvesting, example, body heat, supplementary battery power. Wireless charging extends battery life and device usability. Efficient communication protocols reduce power consumption, and redundancy and alerts ensure uninterrupted data logging and patient safety. Next slide, please. Now, in safety and compliance in medical temperature electronics, the IEC 60601 and ISO 80601 are for electrical safety, EMC, and performance criteria measurement. For biocompatibility testing, it ensures skin contact materials do not cause irritation or allergies. For sterilizability protocols, we have reusable devices which must be sterilizable to avoid cross contamination. For embedded safety features, self diagnosis and fault detection, for alerts for sensors failures or malfunction. Next slide. Now, future directions, AI and smart diagnostics in temperature monitoring. So, artificial intelligence is poised to revolutionize body temperature monitoring by enabling smart diagnostic and predictive analytics. AI algorithms can analyze temporal patterns along with other vital signs data, such as heart rate, oxygen saturation, to detect early warning signs of illness or infection before symptoms become clinically apparent. Machine learning models enhance accuracy by incorporating environmental factors and patient specific variability, reducing false alarms and improving clinical decision support. Let's take an example. AI systems can automate fever detection, differentiating infectious from non infectious causes, thereby assisting triads in emergency or outpatient setting. Integration with telehealth platforms allows remote patient management, personalized care recommendation, and epidemic surveillance, significantly improving public health responses. This convergence of temperature sensing with AI-driven insights hold potential for transforming chronic disease management, outbreak prediction, and individualized health monitoring. Now let's take some questions. First is, which component in a digital thermometer is primarily responsible for converting the analog sensor signal into a digital value for processing? The correct answer for this is ADC, that is analog to digital converter. A thermistor senses the temperature, but its output is an analog electrical device, that is voltage or resistance. The ADC takes this analog signal and converts it into a digital number that the microcontroller can understand and process. Now, on the second question, which wireless technology is commonly used for real time monitoring of body temperature in medical devices due to its low power consumption? The correct answer is BLE, that is Bluetooth Low Energy. BLE is favored for this application because it is specifically designed for low power consumption, allowing devices to run for a long time on a small battery, which is crucial for wearable medical sensors. The third question is, what is the primary method used to calibrate a clinical thermometer to ensure its accuracy? For this, the correct answer is testing it in a controlled water bath against a high precision reference sensor. So, this method provides a stable and uniform temperature environment, allowing for a precision comparison for the thermometer readings against the known, highly accurate standard. This is a far more reliable method than using less precise or variable reference points like ice packs or other commercial thermometers. Okay, thank you.